So I have a little bit of an idea. Um, so as far as all this stuff going on about everything has already happened, and we are essentially zooming into one aspect to experience at a time, per timeline, per linearity. I've had, the pondering, of the notion that in an infinite existence, everything has to be experienced by consciousness at some point in time. Otherwise, it didn't exist, right? So if you take that notion and then extend that out and consider that that would mean every single horror experience would have to be physically gone through and integrated and put in its proper place, it presents a bit of a problem. As far as a thought experiment goes, it presents a bit of a problem. And I had this idea I had this idea involving AI technology, which would act as a surrogate for the human entity observer element, and so-called take the place of a human with all of his or her fragilities and sensitivities to these kinds of trauma. If there is an AI element that can be what's that word they used in Hunger Games? Like whoever's put up for sacrifice or whatever. I forget what they called it, but I volunteer as something or other. But anyway, that concept. The AI observer entity could be surrogate witness to whatever's happening, or the horror elements if they must be experienced by consciousness in some fashion or form. The AI could experience it and integrate it into the overall whole with armor, basically. So even if it's a sentient AI, it would be offered as whatever that word is. I don't know what the word is. Or if it, of course it would have to agree to it if it was sentient, but on some level. But it would act as surrogate for the more fragile human, and so the experience would be witnessed and integrated in a less traumatic fashion, and would be available on the Akashic records, or the stored data wherever that occurs. And it would the problem would be remedied in some aspect. Because if the observer agent is an AI, or part AI, or even some sort of transhuman, superhuman entity, and it's going through what would normally be torturous for organic human, it would be able to go through these experiences without as much trauma as surrogate. So I think that may be a piece that AI plays. Don't know for sure. This is just my personal thought experiment. Interesting though. Let me know what you think.